All right, so we have 20 minutes of straight up core work today, but we're gonna go through a short little warm up before we hit the mat. So we're gonna start with our 10 jumping jacks. Whether you wanna do 10 high impact jacks or 10 low, totally up to you. And once you have done your 10 jacks, we're going to do 10 total body extensions, which is basically a squat jump without the jump. So we're still gonna push the hips back, keep the chest up, bring the hands behind us, and as we stand up, I want you to come up onto the toes and reach for the ceiling. So we're going to extend through our entire torso. Here we go, so sit and reach. We're going to do 10 of these total body extensions, opening up through the shoulders, through that rib cage. Nice. And once you have done 10, we're gonna come down onto the mat, high plank position. So we're on our hands and we're on our toes. You can do this with your hands elevated off the floor as well. So we're here and here. We're gonna go into some plank to pike. So I want you to draw the belly button up, get the hips up towards your ceiling, get your head between the shoulders, and we're aiming to stretch out through the shoulders, through those hips, while pulling that belly button up towards the spine. We're gonna start waking up those abdominals. We're going to do 10 total here. And once you have done your 10, I want you to flip it over onto the mat on your back. And we're gonna get right into our 20-minute core workout. Perfect. We have a circuit that we are going to run through twice. 30 seconds on, 10-second rest. I got one more, I think. Perfect. Good. So once you've done your 10 plank to pikes, I want you to flip it over. So move number one. We are going to alternate between a one-legged oblique jackknife with a one-legged bicycle. So I need you to pick a side, left or right, and then we'll switch sides for our second 30-second round. So this is what it's gonna look like. So we're gonna come hand to opposite foot, and then from here, we're gonna bring elbow to knee. And we stay all on the one side. When the timer goes, we get that 10-second break, we're gonna switch, and then I'm just gonna talk you through the rest. All right, so pick a side, left or right for me. Here we go. So one jackknife, one bicycle. Keeping the shoulders lifted off the floor, keeping that back pushed down into the mat. Good, and really thinking we're using those obliques to reach that hand or the elbow across the body towards the opposite leg. Nice, good. Do not worry about your speed. Focus on controlling the movement and feeling those abdominals do their work. Okay, same thing, other side. Shoulders are up. One jackknife, one bicycle. Good. You got it. Perfect. Now, when the timer goes, we are going to bring both hands behind the head. And we're gonna do something called a partial sit-up or a crunch, which means we're just lifting the shoulders up and off the mat. We are not sitting all the way up. So kind of think of it as a warm-up to that full sit-up. So knees bent, feet flat, still keep your back pushed down into the mat. Hands are behind the head. So we're gonna lift the shoulders, come on back down, that is it. Good, and as you drive that back down into the mat, you should be feeling those abdominals tighten up, allowing you to lift those shoulders as high as you can off the mat. Nice. And as you get more and more warmed up, maybe you can sit up just a little bit higher off those shoulders. All right, 2 seconds. Perfect, so we're gonna tuck the hands under the hips. We're gonna bring those legs up towards the ceiling, and we're gonna do some hip lifts. We're gonna get our heels up towards the ceiling. So push that back down, lift the heels up, come on down. It's not a very big movement. tucking that tailbone under, feeling those lower abdominals tighten up. And we're gonna use those muscles to lift the heels up towards the ceiling. Nice. You got it. Perfect. I need about 3 more seconds. All right, now we get to do a full sit-up. So bent legs, more of a challenge. Straighter legs, easier. Hands can come across the chest or behind the head. Drive your back down into the mat. Sit up as high as you can. Roll back down under control. Good. Again, we're using those abdominals to sit ourselves up. I don't want you swinging yourself up with the hands. I want those abdominals to do the work. Good. About 5 more seconds. And then we're gonna go back and we're gonna do a bicycle. Hands behind the head. Let's bring those feet up. Push your back down into the floor. Keep the shoulders lifted the whole time. We're gonna do elbow to opposite knee and then switch. So bigger legs will be more of a challenge. Smaller legs will be easier. So you choose your medicine. Start with the hardest version and then make it easier as you go. Good. See if you can get that elbow to touch the opposite knee. Nice big full range of motion. And when the timer goes, we're gonna flip it over. We're gonna come back into our high plank or push-up position. Perfect. We're gonna do this one leg down dog to a crunch. So we're gonna pick a leg left or right. So we're on our hands, we're on our toes. Get your hips up. Bring one leg up. From here, drive that knee into the chest. Bring the leg back up. Good. Drive that knee in. When that knee comes to the chest, you are pulling that belly button up toward the spine. I want you to hold that contraction. Hold for a second or two, and then drive your hip back up, or your leg back up. Perfect. All right. Same thing, other side. And then we get to move on. All right, we got 3 seconds. Just get yourself set up into down dog. Other leg comes up. Drive that knee into the chest. Good. Leg comes up. You got it. Picture that belly button being pulled up into the spine as that knee comes towards the chest. Hold for that extra second or two. I need 10 more seconds. We're gonna drop down to the forearms and we're gonna hold the plank, either from the knees or toes. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna hit the deck. Everyone's on their forearms, knees or toes, you choose. Let's get set up. I need a nice flat back. I want you to draw the belly button up towards the spine, keeping your hips nice and square to the floor. So don't let your hips drop. Don't let your butt come up towards the ceiling. Nice flat back. Good. 10 seconds left. And we're gonna pop it back up onto our hands, staying on the toes. And if you find that position too challenging, elevate your hands off the floor. We are going into a mountain climber crunch. So very similar to that down dog crunch, but this time I want you to really arch the back. So from here, pull the knee in, arch the back like a cat, and then extend the leg back out. Arch that back up. Again, we are picturing that belly button getting pulled up towards the spine. Hold for a second, and then release. Good, 10 seconds. You got it. Slow and controlled. 5 more seconds. We pick a side, left or right. Woo. Okay, side plank hip dips. So this can be done from a modified or a full side plank, totally up to you. Modified, bottom leg stays bent. I want you to pop it up. Option 1, just hold it. Just hang out and hold. Option 2, we're gonna add that hip dip if you want more of a challenge. Using those underside obliques, using your hip, and we're gonna push that hip up as high as you can towards the ceiling. Feel that whole underside just tighten, because that's a word. Tighten up. Good. 2 seconds. Either a modified or a full side plank, up to you. Pop it up. Good. Hold or add that hip dip. And with the hip dip, I want you to push that hip up as high as you can. Good. Really feel that whole underside tighten up or contract. Good. Keep that chest open. Try not to take that top hand and leave it on the floor. Open yourself up. We have less than 10 seconds. And we're gonna roll over onto our back. Perfect. All right, abdominal side shift. So, knees are bent. We're gonna keep our shoulders lifted and hands hovering over the floor. You're gonna shift your weight so that you can touch your ankles, but you've gotta keep those shoulders up. Now, if this bothers your neck, I want you to put your hands behind the head and think of bringing your elbows towards your ankles. Good, so you got a couple of options. I need 10 more seconds. We got 2 more moves before we're back to the top. Good, 3, 2, you got it. Hands behind the head, shoulders stay lifted, bring the feet up. We're gonna alternate leg lifts, but you gotta keep the shoulders up. Lower one leg and then the other. When you bring that leg back up towards the ceiling, you're using those abdominals to pull the leg back up. That's where I want your focus to be. Good, we got about 10 more seconds here. 1 more move, and then we will rinse and repeat. We're gonna hold the crunch position. Perfect, relax. So hands are gonna come behind the head. We're gonna lift the shoulders and just hold it for 30 seconds. All right, hands behind the head. Lift those shoulders. Push your back down into the mat. Feel those abdominals tighten up. And then I want you to hold that position. Try not to let yourself work your way back down to the floor. Lift, hold. I need about 12 more seconds. And then we're gonna go back to our 1 oblique jackknife to our 1-sided bicycle. Woo, in 3, 2, nice. All right, we're back to the top. 1 hand behind the head, other hand above the head, hand to opposite foot. Here we go. Up, now do a bicycle on that side. Rinse and repeat. Keep them shoulders up. Back push down into the mat. Good, so we are using that opposite side oblique to pull the knee and pull the leg up to the opposite hand. Got it. Nice, we have about 5 more seconds. We'll get set up on the other side. Perfect, relax. Woo, take a breath or 2. All right, just gonna set up on the other side. So extend the other leg for me. Hand to opposite foot, elbow to opposite knee. Good, keep the shoulders up. Keep that back pushed down into the floor. Nice work. This is our last time through. Let's give it all you got. Slow it down if you need to. Make your range smaller if you need to. Just don't stop. We got 5 seconds left. We're gonna do our partial sit-ups or little crunches. So hands behind the head. We're just lifting the shoulders and then coming back down onto the mat. All right, hands behind the head. Lift the shoulders, come on down. Good. Keep that back down. Don't let it arch up as you lower the head down to the mat. See if you can get up a little higher on each breath. Push that belly button down, come on. 10 seconds. We're gonna move on. We have those abdominal hip lifts coming up next. 5 more seconds, come on. 1 more rep, 1 more rep. Perfect. Hands under the hips, feet up towards the ceiling. We're gonna get our heels up and back down. So push your back down, tuck that belly button in, and use those lower abdominals to push the hips up toward the ceiling. You got it. This is not a huge movement, but make it as big as you can. Focusing on the abdominals that we are working. Good, because we got that full sit-up coming up next. All right, so bent knees more challenging, straighter legs a little easier. Hands either across the chest or behind the head, which is more of a challenge. All right, push that back down. We're gonna sit ourselves up, roll back down under control. Good. Focus. We are using those abdominals to lift the shoulders, sitting ourselves up as high as we can. What I don't want you to do is swing yourself up. Come on, we gotta make those abdominals, we gotta wake them up, make them work. We got 5 seconds. We're back to some bicycles. Whew. I don't know about you, but they are starting to really scream at me. Okay, knees up, hands up, elbow to opposite knee, here we go. Keep that back push down. We're gonna push through our abdominals screaming at us to stop. So if you need to take a little break, take it, but just don't quit. Take a second, put your legs down, catch your breath, and then do a few more reps. I only need 10 more seconds, and then we flip over. We're gonna do that one-legged down dog to crunch. So we gotta pick a side, left or right. Perfect. Flip. So hands and toes. Get the hips up for me. Bring one leg up, and then tuck that knee in. Good. Leg comes up, tuck that knee in. Now we are not arching the back on this one like we do for the mountain climber crunch. We are simply gonna draw the belly button in as that knee comes into the chest. We're gonna hold for 1 or 2 seconds, feel those abdominals tighten up, and then squeeze your butt to get that leg up. Perfect. Same thing, other side, and then everybody's gonna hold the plank from their forearms. Okay, let's get your hips up. Other leg comes up. Draw that knee in. Good. Eyes stay on the floor. Make sure you're bringing those hips back square to the mat. Hold for that extra second. Pull that knee in as far as you can to the chest. Good. About 5 seconds left. We're going to drop down to the forearms. Everybody's holding the plank. Forearms, knees or toes, we'll do a bit of both. So let's get ourselves set up. Drop it down. Pop it up. Good. Shoulders are down, eyes are on the floor. Hips nice and square to the mat. We're gonna tuck that belly button in. Perfect. And when the timer goes, now we're gonna do that mountain climber crunch. This is where I want you to arch that back like a cat. I think we got about 5 seconds. Can't see my timer. Woo, there it is. All right, so everybody's on their hands and toes. Now you can elevate your hands off the floor to make it a little bit easier. So let's get set up. Tuck that knee in, arch your back up, and then set it back. Good. Come in, hold. Good. Hold that belly button up to the spine. Think of somebody pulling on a string attached to your belly button, and they're pulling it up toward your spine. That's it. We got less than 10 seconds left. We're going to come back to our side plank. Perfect. All right, so either a modified or a full side plank. You can add that hip dip if you want. You ready? Pop it up. So option 1, just hang out and hold. Again, keeping that chest open, eyes straight ahead. Option 2, add that hip dip. Getting those hips up as high as you can towards your ceiling. Good. Really feeling that whole underside contract and tighten up to push the hip up towards the ceiling. I need about 5 more seconds, and then we drop and roll. Into. Perfect. All right, same thing on the other side. modified or a full side plank. Pop it up. So remember, you can just hold and hang it. Option 2, we're gonna add that hip dip. Keep your chest open. So keep the opposite hand either on the hip, you can bring it up towards the ceiling, whatever feels comfortable for you. I just want you to feel that whole underside working. And we've got 3 moves left. So in about 5 seconds, we're back onto our back for those abdominal side shifts. Perfect. All right, on your back. Shoulders are lifted, knees are bent. So shoulders are up, hands are hovering. You're gonna shift your body weight left to right as you come towards the ankles. So again, we're working through those obliques. We're gonna use those obliques to shift our weight left and right. And if this bothers your neck, put your hands behind the head and keep going. Good. 2 moves left. We're gonna do our alternating leg lifts, keeping those shoulders up next. Perfect. So, legs are up. I want you to lift the shoulders, hands behind the head. Lower one leg, pull it up. And remember, we're using those abdominals to pull the leg back up towards your ceiling. You got it. Make those legs as big as you can. I have 1 move left, which is our crunch hold. And then we're done. Good. Perfect. Nice work, nice work. Hold 2 seconds. Excellent, feet flat, knees are bent. We're gonna keep our hands behind the head. We're gonna lift those shoulders up as high as we can off the floor. Hands up, shoulders come up. Good, hold it. Really drive that back down into the mat. Keep those elbows out. Don't be pulling on your neck. Good, see if you can get a little higher, come on. 15 seconds. All right, last time, come on, a little higher, let's go. You got this, you got this. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, just relax. Ooh. Take a couple of nice big deep breaths. I want you to stay down on the floor. Roll it over for me. I'm gonna have you take some time to stretch it out. Go into your down dogs, go into your child poses. Take some nice big deep breaths as you go through the stretches, hoping or saying that if you can get a little deeper into the stretch with each exhale. Job well done on your 20-minute core, and I'm gonna see you in the next workout.